So, Jake, I'm really excited about the return of the Muppet Show. How do you feel about that?
Oh, don't, mate. I've barely slept the past few weeks. Have you seen all the teasers?
I have. We watched the trailer. Super excited. It's just been released on Disney Plus, so we're going to have a watch of that in a moment.
I'm so
But
excited.
Before we do, I wanted to tell you, Jake, about what the Muppets mean to me, and I wanted to find out from you about what the Muppets mean to you. Jim Henson to me has been a huge inspiration in everything that I do. I recently watched the documentary on Jim Henson, Idea Man.
Yeah, that's on Disney Plus too, isn't it?
It is, and if you haven't seen it, I hugely recommend it. It talked a lot about creativity and play, and a lot of the things that Jim Henson did, I bring to the work that I do.
So he's kind of like your inspiration in a way.
He is an inspiration, and he's someone that I look up to, and I look to all the work and all the creativity that he did over the years. And I want to do something similar. I want to try and do things in a similar kind of way. Jim Henson once said something along the lines of, if I can leave this world a little bit better than what I found it, I'll be a happy man. And I kind of try and put that philosophy into the work that I do.
Well, I mean, that sounds like a good way to go, if you ask me. It sounds like a good moral for life. If you can leave it a little better than the way you found it, well, then you might have done something right. But he had a really good team around him, didn't he? He had so many friends that it just seemed like the perfect formula, didn't it?
It did. He managed to find a group of people who he could play with.
Yeah.
Who he could have fun with, who he could explore and be creative with.
And I think we all need that, really. You need to surround yourself with people that say yes to your ideas or can be honest about your ideas. You know, he very much had that. He surrounded himself with people who he knew he could trust to tell him the truth, but also people he could play with and create with. I mean, how cool's that?
I wonder, how do you think that informed his creativity? How he managed to come up with so many wonderful things over the years? You know, he took these puppets that he created in the 50s, and he went on over the next 50 years to create, not quite 50 years, sorry. He went over, he went over the next 40 years. He went on to create the Muppets in the sense that they would be used within advertising. They went on to talk shows. Then they would eventually have their own Muppet Show, which then went into movies as well.
Yeah.
So how do you think he went from having those kind of spark of an idea to all of that, to almost like an empire of creativity?
A Muppet Empire. Well, I think, do you know what? I don't think any of it happened overnight. And it seemed to me like it was a bit of a perfect storm, that he never gave up. He had idea after, as the documentary's called, The Ideas Man. But he had idea after idea. And when they failed, he didn't give up. He just went back to the drawing board and had a look at what that idea might be missing. And then found the perfect formula. And I think he was very good, and people around him were very, very good at seeing their own strengths. So they could have a look at like the Muppets Valentine show, and they knew that the Muppets would be really good with celebrities. But then also you had like the links with Sesame Street, and they found out that the Muppets could also be really informative and a bit educational. And the songs that came from that as well. Because one of the songs that they did, that Robin, you know, the little frog Robin, he did when he was sat on the stairs, the Winnie the Pooh song, that then ended up in the UK charts. So I think a lot of it, not to put them down, but was trial and error. It was just throwing things at a wall and seeing if they stick, and then figuring out where the strengths were in what stuck.
And I guess the Muppet Show was the pinnacle of testing all these different ideas out, wasn't it?
It seemed to me like it was just looking at everything they had and wondering how they could put it all together to make one big cake, like ingredients in a cake. And the Muppet Show ended up being that cake. That was all the hard work, all smushed together into a perfect storm.
And isn't it special that now we're at a moment where we've got a 40th anniversary
Oh,
being
yeah,
celebrated like this, a moment where the different generations can come together again. And the big thing about the Muppet Show for me was it was a family show.
yeah,
It was something we could all sit down in a household together and watch and enjoy it on different levels. And we
exactly.
just don't seem to get TV like that anymore, do we?
No, and it seems to me that this is probably exactly what we need. And I think, not to speak for the big man himself, but I think Jim Henson had a bit of trouble pitching that to people in the early days. I don't think people could really see the vision, as it
Mm,
were. And I think that's probably, I mean, I'm just speculating. I think that's probably why the Muppet Show itself has that format of all the Muppets trying to put on a show. It's a show within a show. And I
mm.
think that's why we find it so entertaining, because it draws on the real life experience of trying to put on a show that works and will be greenlit by the networks.
Yes. And there was something really authentic about the show as well, wasn't there?
Yeah.
The way that the guest stars would come in and they would have a moment to be themselves, to play themselves in a way that they normally wouldn't get that opportunity. They got an opportunity to show what they do to a different audience, in fact.
Yeah,
Where something is a family show, you're getting all the different generations watching it. And the younger generation might discover someone that was mainly in their career doing things for the older generation. For
exactly.
example, one that springs to mind, Vincent Price was a
Yeah,
guest star. Now, he would normally only be in horror shows
right.
and he would be an adult entertainer. But this was a moment for Vincent Price to come along and show what he could do to a younger audience so that when they grew up, they could appreciate his stuff again and they were familiar with him in a way that they wouldn't have known him before.
Yeah,
So it gave those stars a real opportunity to show themselves in a different light and to spread themselves into a new audience.
exactly. And I mean, especially in the early days, it seemed like word of mouth got around quite quickly
Mm,
that celebrities really enjoyed going on the Muppet Show.
yeah.
It seemed like, the word of mouth was that it was an enjoyable place to be, which I think really helped.
It does, and that's real still today, isn't it? We find that with the podcast, don't we,
Definitely.
Jake? That people enjoy coming on the podcast, and then they tell other people about it, and it spreads out in the real world. And I'm getting a little bit of a sense with this revival of the Muppet Show. There seems to be a bit of a community building around this show, and I think it comes back to that thing of we're in a time where we kind of need this right now, don't we? We've spoke about this before, Jake, about the world being a really tough place right now. And I saw Kermit in an interview recently where he was saying, I feel the world needs an opportunity to just sing and dance, and that's what I want to give you.
Wow. I think he's right. As most of the time he is, I think he's right. Did
Mm.
you know that Kermit wasn't actually it was actually the host of the Muppet Show, Jim Henson, was considering who to host it,
Mm.
and it was between Ralph the dog
Wow.
and Kermit, and eventually he went with Kermit.
I wonder what that was, what that shift was, because Kermit has become, we're big fans of Kermit the Frog with
Very.
with the
With the
t-shirts on today.
t-shirts.
I wonder what it is about Kermit the Frog that is different to all the other Muppets. Now, I've got a feeling behind this, but what do you think it is, Jake? What do you think made him such a leader in that space? What was different about him to the other Muppets?
Well, he kind of had quite a strong background in that he and Jim Henson, I think they'd been working together for a good few years by that point. I think it was like 8 years. And a lot of people, I didn't really know this, but a lot of people said that Jim Henson was such a placid, calm, chill person. And then Kermit was like an extension of him. And Kermit
Mm.
was the one who was quite hard hitting and quick and loud and shouty. And a lot of people didn't think wouldn't call him aggressive, say, but that, he was quite a strong character. And it was like the polar opposite of Jim.
Mm.
And maybe that was that part of him, the way that it got out. But when he became the host of the Muppet Show, that energy lent itself really well, because suddenly it wasn't an aggressive energy. It was just a frantic, I want this show to be great energy.
It was a passion, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Kermit had a passion for what he was doing, a passion and a love. And that love really shines through in everything that the Muppets have done since, doesn't it?
It really does. He's the person that I think is always trying to pull it all together at the last minute. All of the Muppets have got their own skill set, and his is that he's the glue that binds them all together.
So I'm going to take something back that I said earlier. I said earlier that Jim Henson was someone that I looked up to and aspired to. And maybe it wasn't, if I go back to my 8-year-old self and I really think about it, maybe it was Kermit. Maybe it was Kermit that was informing my creativity, that was informing my work ethic.
Yeah, maybe. But to be fair, does that mean that it was still Jim? Because Kermit and Jim, I think they eventually were part of each other.
Yeah. And it's like you and the relationship that we have, Jake.
Yeah.
You to me, to everyone else, this is a real space, isn't it?
Yeah, it
This
really
is a space where imagination and creativity merge, and the line's a little bit blurred, isn't it, here?
It's a good space.
We're talking about that, about creativity and the lines being blurred. I would really like to get this started and to watch the Muppet Show. Like I say, it's just been released on Disney Plus.
It's finally time.
It's finally time. So we're going to watch it and come back afterwards. We're going to have a little review. We're going to be honest. We're going to say what we think, being fans of the Muppet Show, having watched all the previous episodes and all the films. I think we're in an ideal position to give our points of view on it. What do you think, Jake?
Oh, I don't know if I'm much of a reviewer, but I'll give it a go.
No, yeah, that's interesting, because I often say the same thing, that I don't consider myself to be a reviewer, but I love these things. I'm passionate about these things as well, and I think it's okay occasionally to give a little opinion on what we think.
Yeah, we can only give what our personal thoughts. Other people will just have to go and watch it and see what they
find out
think
for themselves.
Too.
Yeah, so here we go, Jake. Let's stick on Disney Plus, The Muppet Show. It's time to light the music. Light the music.
He's so excited.
I'm so excited. I get the words wrong. It's time to light the lights. It's time to play the music. It's time to meet the Muppets on The Muppet Show tonight.
Have you been playing this whole time?
Well, what'd you think it was? Some kind of sentimental montage in your head? We're doing the show again, Frog.
Oh, that's right.
Oh my God, it's you.
You're my idol.
You're sweet. Go on.
I grew up watching you. My parents grew up watching you. Their parents grew up watching you.
We are so excited to be back where it all started and then ended and then is maybe starting again, depending on how tonight goes.
I've been burned before.
It's the Muppet Show, and it starts right now. Maybe we're a little rusty.
Isn't it wonderful being back in the theater and giving the people what they truly want? Moi.
Right.
It's always been a dream of mine to be here.
Ooh, got any other dreams?
It's time to get things started.
Sensational, inspirational, celebrational.
We're still working out a few kinks.
Oh, that's all right. I love a kink.
Hola!
This is what we call a Muppet Show.
I can't believe they're doing the old show again.
Well, if it ain't broke.
No, they are broke. That's why they're doing it. Yep. Good to be back.
It's time to get things started on The Muppet Show tonight. Oh, Jake, what a time to be alive.
We watched it.
We just watched The Muppet Show. The Muppets are backed. And, Jake, I'm going to start with something that I'm unhappy with.
Oh, okay. Right. Okay. Yeah. We'll do it. We'll build up, shall
And
we?
we'll build up from there.
Sounds good.
The thing that I'm most disappointed with
Yeah?
is there is only one episode.
I know.
I need more. I feel
I
like
wanted it to be longer.
Yeah, I feel like I've just gotten a taste for something
Yeah.
that I could have sat down for the whole evening and watched.
I said to you, I could have been in the theatre watching it. Like, I really wanted to be that audience.
I did,
sat
yeah.
watching
but
it.
at the same time, I felt like I was the audience. It felt very theatrical.
It really did, didn't it?
One of the things that I loved the I would love to see a behind the scenes, the making of this, because I can imagine working on this show that the people that have put this together must have had a love for the original Muppets.
Obviously.
You know,
it's clear that the passion is definitely still there.
it felt like it never stopped. It felt like you could watch the Muppets from the 70s and the 80s, and it's just continued to now.
Yeah, it feels like they've never had a break.
It fits right in, and I left as we stopped watching it. I felt happy. The finale, hairs
much fun.
hairs were standing up on my arms. How was it for you? How did you feel after you finished watching it?
I'm absolutely thrilled because the big thing that I think made it work is they kept the original format that worked so well, but then they just spruced it up for the modern audiences, like for the new audiences, I mean. But I think I was so hoping that they'd keep the sketch format that they did.
Yes.
And they definitely did. They still had a mix of everything. And just as you started to get into the flow of something and enjoy it, then there was something else. The timing and the pace was so bam, 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 bam. They just didn't stop.
No, it didn't stop. Yeah, it felt like once I'd started watching, it was over, and I wanted more. It's the type of show that if this returns to Disney Plus, it could be on every week, and you would return every week at that time, wouldn't you?
Definitely.
Like back in the old days when I was younger, and then family programs were on a Saturday night. That's kind of gone away, but this is something that could bring that back because it draws you in because of the like you say the sketch format of the show. And you know what was also really interesting and I was really surprised about was the way the comedy was a little bit naughty.
Oh, yeah, I was thinking about this. But here's the thing that I think worked. There was a couple of naughty lines here and there, but they were all done by the guest stars.
Yes.
So, in a way, the Muppets were still slightly out of it. They
Yeah,
were kind of kept clean.
Yeah, they retained their innocence.
Yeah.
And so that thing of appealing to a multi-generational audience works
It
because
really does.
you know.
We should be clear. The naughty lines would go over the kids' heads.
Oh yeah, like I had to explain a couple of things to you afterwards, didn't I?
I was wondering why you were laughing, and then I got it. But yeah, I was wondering why you were
But
laughing.
it works
at
on
certain
different.
points.
It works on different levels. It's similar to the Simpsons. How the Simpsons can work on many
That's a good
levels.
call.
So yeah, when I say naughty, I'm not. I'm not saying it's. A little bit reminds me of British humour. The pantomimes that we have here in the United Kingdom.
The first season of the Muppet Show was filmed in London, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah, and so they've retained that original humour, and that was a worry of mine that will get missed. That they would kind of forget what made it special.
Yeah,
what
they
made
really
it different.
went back to that, didn't they?
It did.
And I think I just love that they kept in like the Great Gonzo and the experiments as well that they always used to. I loved that they kept that format of the classic bits and bobs, but then the new sketches, I think definitely, I mean, especially the first one relates to another popular thing that's currently going around at the, that kind of time period. Is another popular thing.
Yeah, so there was lots of things that are really relevant to this moment right now, and the musical numbers were all quite special, weren't they?
They really were. They they had a mix of, obviously we won't spoil it, but a mix of different age ranges and different genres of music.
Yes, yeah, and and like I say, that finale song, there was a build up to it.
So good.
There was almost like a little a question of how is this show going to kind of an end?
Yeah,
and then it came together in a really special and magical way. And you know what? the Disney touch is something that some people have been concerned about. You know, Disney taking something that didn't originally belong to them and doing their own thing with it. Whereas I see that they've added the Disney magic into the Muppets, and that's what I felt at the end there.
I think that's a nice way to look at it. I also really liked, again, no spoilers, but Kermit does a speech before the finale.
Yes.
And I think that speech was almost from the producers and the writers as well as Kermit.
Yeah.
Do you think? Because he
Yes.
talks about how they're a little bit rusty and kind of the fears surrounding that. And that's probably very true. But then in true Muppets fashion, in true Muppet form, they all came together at the end and it was wonderful.
It was truly wonderful. And I highly recommend that everyone at home gets their family together, sits them down in front of the TV as I keep saying, as a family, as a group, with all the generations all in the room together to enjoy this show.
Yeah, because there's something for everyone. They had
truly is.
iconic duets. They had some amazing dances as well. Yeah, just something for everyone.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for watching it with me, Jake.
Oh, it was a pleasure.
That was a moment that's going to live with me forever. Just sitting
so
down there
good.
watching it with you, it really was special. So thanks again, Jake, for sharing. And yeah, go check it out on Disney Plus.
And thanks to the Muppets for doing it.
Thanks to
You're
the
back.
Muppets, and I so hope that they are genuinely back.
Me
And
too.
this is just the beginning of something really special.
I can feel it. This is so exciting.
Wonderful. Thanks again. And if anyone has been watching or listening, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you too. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
That was so good.